Back to our Facebook conversation, because we really didn't get into it enough, I don't think. This scathing report, really, from the New York Times. Senator Klobuchar says she's going to send a letter to the Justice Department about this story. Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple, remember, we spoke with him a couple of days ago. I want you to listen to what Steve Wozniak said about Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg.
I've seen Zuckerberg talk about, we'll do this, we'll make this open, we'll give you a little bit more options. I haven't seen them do one real thing. I mean, I could think of a lot of ideas of things they could do that would please me as somebody who believes in, human rights and protecting and privacy and safety, but they haven't done one of them.
All right, then there's Mark Benioff, of course, the Salesforce CEO. Facebook is the new cigarettes. He told Kara Swisher of Recode. You'll see that interview on November 18th on MSNBC, 10 p.m. This is a bad story.
Okay, they're the poster child for bashing right now. There's no question about it. But,
for good reason, right?
Yeah, okay. But the point is, ask yourself as an investor, and certainly as a user of the services, do I want Facebook neutered for all of my 38 portfolio companies that spend the majority of their digital spend on the platform? No, thank you. It works for us. We make money on Facebook because we're able to do geo-locking price points in America that no other platform gives us. So enough with the bashing already. This is a very important tool for American entrepreneurs. What is this?
This is bigger than Facebook, though. This is bigger than Facebook, an individual company. This is about protecting data privacy. And I agree with Jim that this regulation is just getting started. It started in Europe. We already have a law there. We have a law in California. But I think there's an appetite for the U.S. lawmakers to continue to regulate big tech companies. If you look at the number of tech regulations, the number of statutes there is extremely low relative to all the other companies, and yet data is such a hot commodity for everybody, and protecting it is going to be absolutely key.
Anastasia, there's a reason there's no big tech companies in Europe, because their governments regulate innovation right out of their market. We don't want to do that in America. We don't want to take the European example and crush innovation.
You don't think that
we don't do that, but we want to protect.
What do you got? You got SAP and nothing else.
I don't understand. Why, so it's Zuckerberg and Sandberg's actions be damned?
Judge, have you ever heard the words?
That's what you're saying.
No. Have you heard the words, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you? Are you kidding? We don't want the government involved in this.
You think they can help themselves?
No, the point is the market will determine long-term whether this service has viability or not. You don't need the government telling them how to put privacy concerns in place. If you don't want to use the service because you're concerned about privacy, don't use the service.
But clearly, I mean, based on this story, they can't be trusted.
Well, that story's in the market. The market will determine it. If it's true, people will start advertising on Facebook. People will start using it. That's not happening.
So you can be right, but I don't
somebody has to have the voice of reason here. You can't say, government save me, government
voice
save
of
me.
reason.
But the consumers
do you
are
understand? Do you understand that Alex Stamos went to the board of directors and said that Russian disinformation agents are running loose on the platform? And Sheryl Sandberg's response.
Well, Judge,
hold on. I didn't even finish the sentence. I didn't even finish the sentence. And Sheryl Sandberg's response was, how dare you report this in front of the board and make us look bad? Do you understand how horrendously bad this is for democracy to just say, well, it's a super effective ad platform, so let's not be too harsh? The voice of reason would say, okay, Facebook's great. Everyone loves advertising on it. It really does work. However, there are some things that we cannot allow them to oversee themselves anymore, given the damage that's been done. Why isn't that the voice of reason?
92% of the consumers today say they worry about data privacy. 82% of the same consumers say that the government should regulate it. Well, they may be using
they're
Facebook
taking
and all
selfies they're taking selfies in the shower. They're not so worried.
Listen, 82% of the consumers think that the government should regulate these companies. And they actually want the government to regulate the companies, but they want the companies to execute on the data
privacy. Look at the economies where the government does that kind of regulation. Go back to Europe. Go back to China, go back to these places where innovation is crushed because the government knows better. I just want to make sure we keep in America what makes America America. We don't need the government to tell all of our tech companies anything about privacy, because at the end of the day, the market will help this be worked out.
Well, the market is Facebook usage amongst groups younger than their 50s is actually declining.
Look, the point is, the Russians do not elect the president of the United States, counter to what you're saying. Americans
I didn't say that. You just put that in my mouth.
Yeah, you just said that Facebook
said they spread a disinformation campaign on Facebook. This isn't up for debate.
Why do I want to invest in this stock? Why do I want to invest in this stock?
That's a better question.
With all of this vitriol. I mean, you guys are smart. We're all smart. You guys are having big differences of opinion. Why do I want to put money to work in this trash can?
I think we want to look at this in this way. companies like social media companies or any company are going to be spending on compliance. Whether we like it or not, the tech regulation is happening, and therefore companies have to invest in it. So the investable angle here is that who are the software companies that are going to benefit from this? Who helps secure the identity? Who helps secure the data access points? Who helps with privileged access? These are the types of spending. That's the types of spending that we're going to see. And by the way, the cost of non-compliance is 3 times more than the cost of compliance. So it pays to invest, and that's why I think it will be the new norm, investing in data privacy compliance.
Facebook actually wins in that environment because there are very few companies that can afford to put the kind of compliance that is now going to be mandated.
Unintended
Google,
consequence.
Facebook. So you could say that's actually the bull case for Facebook, is that an upstart social network, let's take Gab for instance, is never going to reach critical mass or scale because they don't have the resources Facebook has.
By government regulation, crushed at infancy, destroyed by government regulation. That's what you're saying in another way.
Well, Facebook has not had the government go after its competitors historically. It's acquired them.
Basically, what's happening now
or has gone after it on their own.
By over-regulating this, you're going to crush innovation, and that's bad.
Not all innovation is inherently
We're
good.
going to leave it there.
Biggest companies will be the biggest winners.
You can finish your thought.
The biggest companies could be one of the winners, you're right, because what this is going to happen is probably going to drive more data to the cloud where you can afford to have the data protection layers. So that's the perverse impact of this is you regulate big tech, but it may win in the end.